Now she over there pouring her drink.
I was trying to get everything together because my son's still asleep. I can't hear nothing you saying.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Oh my God. Hello, everybody.
I'm
Welcome
cold
to
as
Same
hell.
Cast Different Day podcast. My name is Tina.
And I'm Marta Rolling. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Oh
I
my
mean, happy
God.
420. I think it's that for everybody's favorite, some of them people favorite holiday.
Some of them people.
You know the smokers.
Mm, Happy 420 to everybody that indulges.
Yay to them. So, for today's show, we have a story about a young lady who was tragically killed going on a date. Um, I, oh, she got her shirt on. Make sure y'all head over to the St. Casa Renee merch store. By the way, my voice sounds so stupid because I'm still sick.
Oh, you poor thing.
I'm like, I was just literally damn laying directly in front of a heater before I got on here. Like I'm just like
Oh
that.
my goodness. You such a men are such babies when they're sick.
I ain't gonna lie, I am.
Mm.
But then we're gonna be talking about Chris Brown and his diss track that he supposedly have released.
He ain't the only one that been releasing diss tracks for the last couple of weeks.
Oh dang, I missed somebody else too.
Oh my goodness. It's a whole it's so Chris Brown is kind of like he part of a different disc, and then there's another disc going on with Drake and
I saw
Kendrick Lamar
so I saw the
and
whole
Rick Ross.
and Kendrick Lamar. I remember I don't think it was Drake that was on tour, and he had like a Kendrick Lamar head that he like shot on stage or something like that. It's that
I'll
I
drink to that.
I ain't know about Rick Ross was involved in it.
Hmm.
I can say that's not fair because I can't even drinking cough medicine and liquor.
You can, you just gonna be messed up.
I can't do it. Mm-mm. Um, so we got that, and then some other stuff along the way. I can't think right now, but I want to get started with the Sade Robinson story. Um,
Ooh, child.
Tina was the one who read the. I think she said it was a 10 page thing that was released on it, and
The
then I
10
had
page police complaint. Yep.
yeah, and then I had saw some of the news reports on it on TV after Tina had mentioned it to me because I was oblivious that this was going on in the city. So I'm gonna let Tina explain to y'all the 10 page thing first, and then we're gonna discuss it because I got some thoughts in my head about this right here. I'm telling y'all.
Okay, so where do I start? So Sade Robinson um was her body parts have been found of her scattered across Milwaukee, most of them primarily around the beachfront. She was 19 years old. She went on a date with the 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson. Um, and it was a tragic turn of events. So looks like Sade was a 19-year-old that worked at Pizza Shuttle, which is a staple on the east side of Milwaukee, has been for a long time. Sounds like Maxwell Anderson worked in a string of bars, some of them being Dukes and Victors, both staples of the Milwaukee nightlife community. And somehow, some way, they hooked up.
Some people
Went on the
say
first
Victor's
date.
is where young girls go to get them some sugar daddies. Just putting that out there.
That is also a long-standing understanding in the city of Milwaukee. Um, so basically, they hooked up some kind of way. Ended up, um, agreeing to go on a first date. This was April 1st. Um, Went to a restaurant called Twisted Fisherman, and after that, ended up going to Duke's, and then after that, that was all she wrote. So by the time April 2nd, morning of April 2nd, they believe she was killed somewhere between 9 p.m. on April 1st and 12 a.m. on April 2nd. Her body was dismembered. The first body part that was found was a leg, her whole leg, that was down by the waterfront on a bluff or cliff, as we like to call it. Um, then another body part was found near some railroad tracks on the north side of Milwaukee. Her car was also torched on the north side of Milwaukee. And then most recently, they found a torso and an arm um, that I was told they believe that belongs to the same young lady. It was DNA testing that proved that the leg and the foot belonged to the same person, and then they tied that to the young lady that was missing. So Maxwell Anderson was arrested prior to the DNA testing um, being completed as a person of interest, and then they formally charged him when the DNA testing came back. So the 10-page complaint that I sent Martell included text messages, um, time, date stamps of different cameras from the different places they were at. Also, testimony from people that saw him in the Twisted Fisherman, saw him at Duke's. Um, Two people that actually saw him walking away from her car fire. Um, Let me see. Camera footage from him being on the bus after the car fire. Camera footage of her car ramming into the gate to get down to the lakefront where the leg was found. The torso and the arm washed up on the beach a couple days ago, wasn't it? I believe. Um, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Nope, still can't hear you. Okay. Nope, I still can't hear you. Oh, I can hear you now.
So you
Nope,
know
can't
what?
hear you.
What?
Oh, there. Oh, there you go.
You know what? I'm tired of you.
I can hear you now. When you
Oh,
lifted up your microphone, I could hear you.
I believe it was Thursday that her body was found.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
about a couple of days ago, the torso and the arm washed up on the beach. So basically, it sounds like they had been texting each other. Decided they were going to meet up at the Twisted Fisherman later that night. Where the young lady was staying had staff and cameras in the building. Sounds like the staff of the apartment building where she stayed at knew she was going on a date. She was excited about it. So the camera caught her in the clothing she was wearing when they went to the Twisted Fisherman. She had on the same clothing. When they found her torch car in the trunk of the car was the same exact outfit. Um, Looks like that Maxwell Anderson, when they got to the Twisted Fisherman, he approached from one side of the building, she approached from the other, but when they left, they went the same direction. And then after that, they went down to Duke's, where um, confirmation via text, and when they spoke to the bartender or the manager of Duke's, sounds like he was going down there to pick up his last paycheck. The bartender there at that time did confirm that story. Um, Sounds like they were served drinks. I'm not sure what kind of drink. She's 19, so she's underage. She shouldn't be served any alcoholic drinks. They left, I want to say at about 9. They were at the Twisted Fisherman from about 5:30, 6:30. They went to Duke's, left Duke's at about 9. And all of this is also traced by an app called Life 360. Her friend, one of her friends was tracing her because she didn't come to work the next day, which was odd for her. So it showed after they left Duke's, they went into the vicinity of the man's house. There was a ring doorbell of one of the neighbors. It showed two people going to the house, and about midnight or so, one person came out the house, and then that person got into her car and they drove off. So then, when we go down to the beachfront where the leg was discovered, um, camera on one of the buildings down there. It was like a water utility building or something. Show him crashing through the gates. They did find pieces of the car there from him crashing into the gates at about, I want to say, like 1:30, 2 o'clock, if I can remember correctly. And he was down there to about 4 o'clock, and the camera caught him driving back out. There was another camera um, on a different building that showed the individual that was by the bluff, and that person was picking something up repeatedly and throwing it out. So like picking up the same item, throwing it out. They believe it was um, Miss Robinson's leg that was found over there on the bluff, which was discovered by two people that were actually on the beach. Um, let's see, what other details are there? Later that day, the next day, I should say, I believe that's when he set her car on fire on Lisbon, which is the north side of Milwaukee. There were two individuals walking down the street. They said they saw a person fitting Maxwell Anderson's appearance toss a lighter in the driver's side window, and the car lit into flames, and he was walking away. He walked through like a vacant lot, ended up walking some weird path and getting on a bus that would have been headed in the direction of his home. And then while he was on the bus, the picture shows him wearing a book bag that seemed full. Okay. And then he ended up asking the bus driver to let him off on a stop that was not an actual bus stop on the route. Um, so we don't really know too much about him other than where he worked at. In the 10-page complaint, I didn't hear anything about previous instances. Well, no, I think he had a history of domestic abuse charges, if I can remember correctly, that I read. We
I
have
think
no motive. He had domestic abuse charges, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, we have no motive as of yet. Um, but this is crazy. I mean, I'm disgusted. This is something that I will be following pretty closely. Only because I feel so much sorrow for the victim. Young lady, beautiful. From what everybody is saying, she had a very nice, bubbly personality, very friendly. Um, and I can't, just how the two of these individuals even crossed paths and decided to go on a date. So like, what did they have in common? What was going on? In the house, when they went to go search his house, they did find blood in the bedroom, and they did find blood on the wall leading down to the stairs. Nobody confirmed if it was her blood or not, though. So that's kind of where we are. His bail is set for $5 million. I personally feel like he shouldn't have any bail, but if he's not considered a flight risk at this point, he really isn't because he didn't leave the city of Milwaukee after committing this heinous act, allegedly, right?
Right.
So they don't see him as a flight risk. There's many people around the city of Milwaukee that have been going to his home and placing pink items on the lawn and things like that. Then they ended up sitting a squad car outside his home because they said they're still investigating or whatever they want to say. But there was reports of his father coming to the house and cleaning items out, like throwing stuff out in the house prior to
Mm.
all that. So that is what I have on the story so far. Martell, tell me how you feel about that.
Like I said, cause why do I keep hearing myself like it's an echo and I can't figure that out? So I find the story very crazy when I first heard about it because at first it was because I think earlier in the week I remember hearing somebody say like, "Oh, they've been finding body parts all over the city." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then the fact that later on in the week, when Tina had told me about the whole background of the story, and it was like the next day I know like they found the torso. I'm like, how mental did you have to be to literally chop somebody up like that and just scatter them across the city?
In warning graphic content in a 10-page complaint, it did say on a leg and a foot, because at that time they hadn't found the torso and the arm, that it were hack marks. So not saw marks, but hack marks. So I'm thinking like axe or something like that,
Hmm.
where he tried to go through her leg bone. Um, and he eventually, it sounded like he might have got tired of doing that, and he snapped the leg bone off. So the head of the femur, which is the strongest part, the strongest and longest bone in your body, the head of it should be stuck in her torso, which includes her pelvis. That is so sad. Like all I can think about is I really hope that she was not conscious for that part. You know, that is so
Hmm.
sad. That is something horrible to go through. That is, the whole night was just, to me, would be misleading because she seemed very happy about going on this date from, what people were saying. Um, and that's just terrible, you know?
And I'm wondering, like, and then on top of that, what level of crazy was C to actually be on public transportation bus with whatever God knows body parts inside that book bag, taking it to another part of the city. Like, and then on top of it, I'm wondering, like, if you had her car, why didn't you, and you was doing this, why didn't you like do all this in her car and then torch it? Instead, you riding
So
on the
that's
public bus with her body parts in the bag.
so that's another thing. Like none of it makes sense. To me, the only thing that makes sense is that he has some mental issues going on, and I really hope that they don't play the insanity card because to me it was very calculated. Um, the fact that you murder somebody and decide to dispose of the body in the way that you did, right? You
Ain't
had to
he in his
have
30s,
something.
right?
He's 33 years old,
So, and then I believe she was 19.
correct?
So who's not to say that he didn't target it younger girls? What if it's like younger girls who's coming up missing in the city who they still haven't found, and maybe he got a hold of them younger girls? Like maybe it's
I
more.
did read an article where it was another young lady that went to Pizza Shuttle. I'm not sure if she was there or she was working there, 16 years old. She ended up missing.
See, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, what
Yeah,
is he
like
just targeting young females? So like, will we somewhere down the line start finding, more younger female body parts just starting to appear? So there's no telling how many other women it could be out there that's just missing. Maybe he's done this many times before, and it's just the first time that he got caught.
so. I mean, so here's the thing. He may have done it many times before, but this time he was sloppy. He did things to get caught.
Right. So that's I'm like, and I'm just
So
like I said, I feel so sorry for the family for going through this.
I don't think they set a date for the trial yet.
I don't think
Um,
so either. And then I wonder if so I'm guessing. Oh, how do I say this without making it sound so nasty? Or well, I'm just gonna say, I guessing they still haven't found her head, so that's still out there somewhere. Because I don't know if the head was attached to the torso. So, um, because the family said they're still waiting on the rest of her body to have a proper burial, and this was in a statement that they put out, I believe, yesterday.
so in medical terms, when I hear torso, I feel like um, neck to your legs.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
And if he cut off the arm because they said they found a torso in the arm. They didn't say they found the torso with head and arm attached. They just
Right.
found a torso in the arm.
So yeah, so the family said they're still waiting to find the rest of her body, so that way they can have a
Correct.
a proper burial. And I'm like, that
So,
is just
so it sounds like a head, an arm, and a leg is missing because they only found one leg and one foot.
right. So it's crazy to think that it's still parts of her that's still out there that have yet to been found yet. And I'm like, that is just one cruel way to go. And like Tina said, I hope that she was not conscious, or I hope that she wasn't alive when he was this started to dismember her.
Yes, that's and I know I have no words for that. It might sound crazy for us to say, we hope that she had already passed before he started dismembering her, but I can't imagine. I just can't. Like he's sick in the head. It's just, and like I said, he wanted to be caught, and then, you know, what if it was a method to his madness? Like I said, maybe he wanted to be found, or why would you know, get rid of body parts in the water knowing they're going to float back to the surface and wash back up on the beach? You can't toss them. You couldn't toss them that far unless you went out on a boat somewhere and they
Right.
wash out you know, they wash out into the middle of the lake. But he didn't do anything to make sure that the body parts would stay at the bottom of the lake. He torched the car in the middle of the day on the black side of town, you know, because he lived on the south side, you know. Um, so it's just a lot. It's a lot, and then you know, you and I have talked about age differences and people. Like I feel like her being 19 and him being 33. Like I said, I wonder what do they have in common with each other. You know, um. So to me, it's just like him preying on her. When you're older, you know how to fit in with different crowds and different types of people. He worked at a bar, so it's not really hard, you know what I'm saying, to blend in, mesh cultures together, things like that, especially when you have somebody that's young. And I don't want to say that she was inexperienced, but he had a lot more life experience compared to her, you know. And maybe there were some red flags and she didn't see them, you know. Unfortunately, people do prey upon people like this. And, when an age gap is that large with somebody being that young, I just, to me, I question, things like that. Now, if you're 40 and he's 50 years old, that's different, right? Because at 40 years old, as a woman, I feel like you should have some life experiences, you know? And it's just really unfortunate, it's unfortunate. It really is. And, I hate to hear people say, oh, we got another Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, that was a whole different type of monster.
Yeah, that's a
N-
total different monster. Like,
That,
and
that was a whole different type of monster.
at least so well they don't have any evidence. Well, I guess they still got to do some work on the torso, but I mean, I guess after they do some testing on it, they might be able to tell if he had sex with her before, like, so we don't know any of that yet because Jeffrey Dahmer was before he was, the whole killing them and eating them stuff. He was basically drugging these men and raping them and then killing them and eating
Yeah.
them. So yeah,
He was putting them in a vat of acid too,
that
wasn't he?
I mean, yeah, when he had like all them body parts and stuff in there, and he was couldn't get rid of all of them. Yeah, that's when he started to dump them in acid and stuff to try to get rid of the bodies at that point. But Milwaukee, Milwaukee, and then I didn't know because Tina was like, "Yeah, this made national news." I'm like, "Huh?" So when I went and typed their name in, I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like the New York Post was covering it. I saw like I think Atlanta Fox Atlanta was covering this story. So I'm just like, Wow, we made like the city made the news and not in a good way, like national news, and it's not in a good way at all. But
And this is why I be leery about going on dates, man. I can't
well, you just
go back to that time where I went on that date and that man brought his friend. Remember?
oh yeah, that was
That's why I picked a place where I knew everybody in the place.
right. And then you need to stay away from dates from people who think 7 miles there. Okay. So to change gear, let's talk about deportation.
Oh, okay.
So Mexico is deporting Americans,
Hmm.
and I have a short video on that, and then we're going to discuss it.
Mexico is now deporting Americans back to the US because they're fed up. So recently, people in Mexico have been complaining because there's been an increased amount of Americans moving to Mexico without documentation. This has been causing inflation in Mexico since Americans usually don't pay any tax, and they pay in US dollars, so prices have been going up. Just in the past 60 days, there's been over 240,000 immigrant apprehensions, and over 7,000 of them have been deported so far. The reason people are fleeing from the US to Mexico is because they can't afford to live in America anymore, and in Mexico, the US dollar has a lot more value and can go a longer way. However, because of this, people in Mexico are also feeling like Americans have been colonizing in a lot of parts of Mexico, and for locals it's been a struggle since businesses have been naturally raising prices in response to this. People in Mexico are saying this is decreasing the quality of life over there, and everyone using pesos now having to pay more to buy anything. But now the president of Mexico is allegedly starting to take action against all the people who are coming over to Mexico illegally, and he's deporting people back to America more than any other time in history.
So Americans are going over there, fucking up the Mexican economy, Mexico's economy. And then on top of that, um, people are so worried about oh the Mexicans are coming over here, the illegal immigrants are coming over here, and look how easy it is for us Americans to go to Mexico without really documentation or whatever. Like we just show a passport and just go, and then we just stay there and don't come back. Like most countries, like to come to America and all this in certain countries, any to come into America or Europe or anything like that. So we was to travel over to Europe and we was to stay there and work. Like we got to get work visas, we got to get sponsored, we got to get all kinds of stuff to go into another country to live and work. For us to go to Mexico and do that, we don't have to. And then a lot of people who work in Southern California, a lot of them people work in Southern California and get paid by an American company, but then lives in Mexico. So they would have like an address, a home address on file in Mexico, and they're not paying taxes whatsoever, and they're not even paying taxes in government. So I can understand why they are deporting, you know, these people back to America. And it's crazy because like a lot of these illegal immigrants that come over to America, the ones who some of them who still manage to get jobs and in them into their illegal immigrant and they're still working in normal jobs, they're still paying taxes. Like even these like illegal immigrants that come over to America and say they open up restaurants and businesses and stuff like that, they're paying taxes to the American government. We go over there and do God knows what in their country, and we do not pay taxes. We're causing inflation over there, like they said. We're not using pesos because the American dollar is worth more money. So this just make me wonder. So now we look at our government and say, like, well, what is y'all response to what Mexico is doing? Because we do the same thing to their people, and then it's like, now what is your response when it's happening to our people? And like say like y'all, I feel like our government should need to treat other people better from other countries. Just because they're poor,
Well,
they can treat them the way they treat them.
I feel like Mexico is doing what they got to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I I don't feel no way about it. We do it to other cultures and nationalities. How come they can't do it to us? Yeah, they
Right,
can. That's their country.
right. Deport their asses back to
Stop trying to get over.
right because the cost of living is too expensive to live in America. So I'm gonna work in America, but then live in Mexico. Like no,
But then you're causing the same problem in Mexico. So now inflation is happening. It's gonna be too expensive to live there.
Hmm. And then it had so there was this thing that happened on a Mexican, like down there in Mexico. There was like a beach down there, and you know how the Mexicans have like the little people that play like the guitars and stuff or whatever. They play the little guitars on the beach, whatever. The Americans were complaining and called the Mexican police to have these people arrested for playing their guitars on the beach. Like that's their culture. That's what they do. You're in their country. You're a guest, and you call the police because they're doing what they normally do in their country. Like that is it's nonsense. Like some Americans, and it's not even black Americans. It's white America that's going down there doing this.
That's crazy.
Like
That's
how y'all
wild.
gonna
That's
tell us not to live our culture in our country? Like now you gonna tell us not to be us in our own country,
just a bunch of parasites.
right? And then I think so. I think like a big like fight ended up happening, and then I think they had to call in like the Mexican army and stuff to try to get things settled down over what was going on because like the Mexican people, like we are fed up of these white privileged Americans coming over here telling us, trying to tell us how to live and what to do in our country. So I agree.
That's
They
sad.
brought the asses back to America.
Yeah.
Brought
Get
them
your
back
get y'all get y'all tails out of other people's countries trying to take over.
after y'all told them that y'all don't want them in America. Like, come on, make it make sense. That's all I'm trying to say.
It's a bunch of idiots.
Um, I do got another story. So everybody knows Donald Trump, right? So gag order the he cannot find he's trying.
We can't hear you. Come closer to the mic.
How that's not- how about now?
Yep.
So Trump had a gag order placed on him by the judge, and he's not allowed to tweet on Twitter about this trial on. So he's trying to have like he's like I've been in court all like I be out in this city and that city and this and that instead of being here in court. So I'm gonna play this video and then we're gonna discuss it.
Well, Donald Trump and his lawyers are trying again to delay the New York City criminal trial against him, which has already begun. Yeah, seriously, they just asked the New York State's appellate court in Manhattan to halt the trial. Trump is claiming that the jury is biased against him, saying, quote, "A fair and impartial jury cannot be selected in New York County." And this is utter nonsense. The jury, which is currently selected and has 12 people and 6 backups in case a jury member drops out, was also selected by Donald Trump's lawyers. They participate in jury selection. They green-lighted all of these jurors. So they went through jury selection, they approved people to sit on the jury, and now, after we have a jury, they're saying, oh no, it's not fair. Please. If Donald Trump committed crimes in New York City, he should be tried in New York City. But this is just another delay tactic by Donald Trump and his team. It is going to get rejected. This is baseless. And once again, this just shows you how terrified Donald Trump is of a potential trial. He just doesn't want this to happen.
Oh, okay, wait, hold on.
So
First thing
that's
first.
my friend Rosie.
Is it New
She's
York
brain.
City and New York County?
Listen, I'm
It
just
is. Second of all, I did serve. Had to get. I got called for jury duty earlier this year, and both the prosecutor, the one who is prosecuting the case, and the defendant's lawyer, the defendant and the lawyer is also present during the jury selection. So
court,
he's not
just like the jury trial.
right.
Yep.
So they're not lying when they said that Donald Trump's lawyers greenlighted these jurors. So for them to say that they don't believe that they can be a fair and impartial jurors, like you pick these jurors
So are you stuck to having a jury trial no matter what?
no
You
matter what
know.
happens.
So I feel like honorable mention, right? I think I sent you this story where when they selected the jury, it was a man. across the street outside the courthouse. Bless you. That
Thank you.
set himself on fire.
Oh yeah, yeah, you did send me. Yeah, that was
This
some.
is when they selected jury.
That was part of. Was that the day they selected the jury? You said the day, right?
That was the day they selected the jury. Correct. Yep.
Mm, mm.
hmm they at first it was reports of an active shooter, and this is across the street from the courthouse. And then the man lit himself on fire.
I can't trust reporters. I just can't.
It's just like the shenanigans with Trump are like never ending.
It's not to me. I just can't wait for a movie to come out and it shows all his shenanigans that he was doing.
I think you got a wire loose. Bless you.
I think I do got a. I think I do got a shortage in this fire,
Okay.
but I can't wait for movie to come out. Talking about showing all the Donald Trump shenanigans. Like I just can't wait to see this. Like I can't wait for it to play out. I can't wait for a guilty verdict to come through, and I hope it does come through, and we could just watch this whole meltdown happen. Like he goes on, I forgot what it's called on X when they go live, but I could just imagine him going live on there and just having a whole complete meltdown for the world to see. I just can't wait. I can't wait. And then I don't even know if he still came up with the money for the bond that he needed because last time I had heard the money he had put up for the bond with $150 million was rejected by the federal government. So
And
I
this
guess
man
I
is
can't
still
wait.
running for president somehow, some way.
And then speaking of other entertainment news, I almost had forgot about I understand how you are a famous rapper and you're getting charged with identity fraud. Like, what are you doing identity fraud for?
Hmm.
It
Who
was
did
one of the
this?
stories that Tina had sent me, and I had forgot about it. NBA YoungBoy was accused of running a prescription drug fraud
Oh.
ring. Authorities claim he called into a pharmacy pretending to be a doctor so he could.
Okay, so let me explain this to y'all. So NBA YoungBoy is a rapper. He's a relatively new rapper. I want to say within the last 5 years,
Oh, he's
right?
facing
It was a
63
whole.
charges, by the way.
So it was a bunch of. It was like a group of people that came out with the moniker starting with NBA. So
And,
never broke again is what NBA
yeah, and I
stands
think
for.
the it's promethazine. If am I pronouncing it right?
So yeah, so they were calling in prescriptions for promethazine and codeine. So let me explain to y'all how this works, right? Because I'm a nurse. So when you call in a prescription, usually I do it. The doctors don't do it, which is what the pharmacist said, right? That they were calling in saying they were the doctor. First mistake. Number two, they were the language or the verbiage they were using when they were calling in was another red flag, right? And then um, the pharmacist has a duty to request, follow up on these prescriptions so they can call the place where the provider works at to confirm that this is really a true prescription. And I think that's kind of how they figured it out that it wasn't. I don't know how long this went on, but it was promethazine with codeine. That is a cough syrup, okay, for people with chronic coughs for all different reasons. Um, and it is also a main ingredient in something we call lean.
Oh, that's what they. Oh, okay, okay. I was wondering. Okay,
So
I
yeah,
know what
so
lean
they
is. Heard
use
of that?
that in
Oh,
lean. So lean is a concoction. I feel like this started in the South where you see people with double cups, styrofoam cups, and it can be made primarily with the promethazine with codeine. Some people put alcohol Sprite in a Jolly Rancher at the bottom, but you can make it all different ways. So they were calling this in and they were getting all of these prescriptions for the cough syrup, right? So now when I call in a prescription, I have to give. So they were also using like fake patients. So these people would go to the pharmacy to pick up these prescriptions, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
can't say fake patient because it has to be an actual real patient, right? Like a valid name and date of birth, um, insurance cards, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Unless you're paying cash. So you call into a pharmacy, you have to speak to a pharmacist, okay? That's the only person that can take a verbal order. And name, date of birth for the patient is what you give them. Name of the provider. They ask you what clinic you're calling from. They ask you for the sometimes, not all the time, depending on what the medication is. They're asked for the NPI number of the provider, which is the National Provider ID number, and then the DEA number of the provider. Now, the NPI number, you can do a Google search online for any provider that you want, and you can get it's probably about what 10, 11 numbers that make up the NPI number. You get this NPI number once you pass the boards, okay, and you are credentialed by insurance companies as a provider, okay.
Mm-hmm.
The DEA number is the number you need for controlled substances, okay.
Mm-hmm.
um Codeine is a controlled substance, so that means that they would have had to provide a DEA number. Okay. DEA numbers can be looked up on websites like the state websites. Like here, our credentialing agency for licenses. Who was that? What happened? Hey, the credentialing agency for people licenses is called DSPS here. So you can go on the DSPS website and you can figure out their license number, not their NPI number, and their DEA number. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So DEA is a different license. Like I said, it is for controlled substances like oxy, like codeine, any scheduled drug that is on the DEA list. Okay. Now, what people don't understand is that DEA watches how many controlled substances you prescribe. So it's also um, probably how they got caught up. And then here in Wisconsin, we have something um, called what is it called? I can't remember right now, but it's a website that tracks all controlled substances for each patient. So I can log in, put in the name and date of birth, and I can see all the controlled substances, who prescribed them, when they prescribed them, the quantities, where they work at, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah. So now all states don't have that ability, and the only people that have access to that website are providers and RNs. Okay. So you got to be an MP, a PA, a MD, or an RN. LPNs can only gain access to that website underneath a doctor's license.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how I'm able to get on that website. Okay. Um, I do this on a regular basis at my job, and just the audacity. Now they consider promethazine with codeine a heavily abused medication. Okay, it's been like that for a while. Not as bad as oxy, but it's getting up there. Not as bad as benzos, but it's getting up there, right? So this medication, if it's being prescribed over and over by the same provider, it's going to raise flags. And
Right.
that's how they ass probably got caught with their stupid asses. And he was already on house arrest, I think, in Utah for something, and he been on house arrest since like 2021 in Utah.
This he just what you literally call a dumb criminal.
Yes,
Wait,
he is. He is.
and speaking of dumb criminals, because I had forgot, Tina, you had sent me this, and I had saw this earlier in the week too, and I think it was on the news too. And I actually watched the news today about the lady who had put her uncle in a wheelchair, her dead uncle in a wheelchair, and wheeled him into the bank to sign for a loan. I'm like, how did you think people was gonna notice that this man is dead?
Did you watch the video?
I did not.
Uh, so it was broad daylight, of course, because it was a bank. She got this man in a wheelchair. He all slumped to the back, and she literally lift this man's head up like a puppet and was like nodding his head like a puppet, and then was talking to him, telling him that he needed to sign the paperwork for the loan.
Like
Stuck
ear
the
and
pen in
everything.
his hand, stuck the pen in his hand, and like the bank staff was like, "Hold on, wait a minute." So they called the police on her ass. I believe it was in Brazil. This happened, if I'm not mistaken. But she
It
said the
was.
man was her uncle. It was what?
It was in Brazil.
It was in Brazil. Okay. But she said the man was her uncle. Supposedly, she had been a long time caregiver, and he had been dead for like 2 hours. So this the first thing you do? You slap him in a wheelchair and you take him to. And then she only wanted like $3,200 or $3,500 or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know the money. I didn't know the money amount.
Like, what are you doing?
What was that? Is that True TV that do like the world dumbest, and they be like showing like the world dumbest criminals? Like she needs to be out there.
Do you know how stupid you gotta be? Like,
Like I'm gonna
she
go
can't be
through.
right in the head.
If I'm gonna go through that list to like I'm gonna get like $700,000. Let's get $100,000 loan in this person's name and just take the money. I'm not afraid to go and try to get $3,500.
First of all, you can get that on the website without having to ever set foot in a bank.
Right. This just reminded me.
Come on now.
It's a good thing that she
And
don't
you
know.
shoving a pen in his hand, talking about uncle, uncle, do you understand me? And she nodding his head like a puppet. It was crazy when I watched the video. I was like, dude, what is the world coming to? Like, what did you need that money for? That bad?
Drugs.
That's what I said.
It's a good thing that Eunice don't watch this podcast or listen. The other day, I was
I can't hear you.
other day. Oh shit! The other day, I had this coworker. Why doesn't my mic want to say? Oh, okay. I got to tighten up the screw. Okay, so I guess I got to hold it for now. Um. So other day, I'm at work and I'm on my lunch break, and I have this coworker who never pronounces anything right, and
Oh, bless her heart.
and
Okay. Okay.
my whole entire cord came out.
Oh, okay.
But so like I said, she never pronounces anything right. So we sitting there. She was like, something. We was talking about. Fuck. We was talking about something.
For our audio listeners, Martell is having some technical difficulties
Yeah,
with his mic. He probably hit old Yeller in the head with
I, I should have. I really.
it.
I,
We do not condone violence of any type, though, around these parts.
Merry Christmas. 1, 2.
Oh,
Okay.
Lord.
Okay. So we was talking about something that had to do with money, and she was like 1,000. I'm like, what do you mean 1,000? She was trying to say that something was. She
Oh,
was trying to say like how we say like 1,200,
it was
1,300. She was like
a
1,000. I'm like,
thousand.
what the fuck is she talking?
You better leave her alone.
I couldn't figure out what she was talking.
You better leave her alone, Jesus. Oh, I miss her so much.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh,
man.
she be setting herself up. I can't help it. Like some old people, they just set themselves up to get laughed at. I'm sorry. They need to stop it. They be setting their own selves up.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Man.
So speaking of because I want to talk about that one with the lady with the bait. So back to funny entertainment news. So I wouldn't call this news, but this man broke it down how he wished they had reality TV back in like the 50s and 60s. And I'm gonna play
Wow.
this
Can you
video.
imagine that?
uh, I'm gonna play this video and like the behind the scene drama with Motown that was
Oh
going
yeah.
on that we don't know about. I was like, yeah,
Oh
that's the
yeah.
show that I would have watched. So I'm gonna play this video.
The Temptations are one of the reasons I wish we had reality shows back in the day. One of the best male groups of all time. Them Temptations had some of the craziest stories. Let's begin with Mr. Eddie Kendricks. The king of falsetto had all the ladies singing in theirs, and I ain't just talking about the fans. Motown artists like Martha Reeves, Tammy Terrell, famous models. Him and Diana Ross dated before either of their groups signed to Motown. And word on the street is that they were still messing around on and off while she was with Berry Gordy and Eddie was married. David Ruffin even exposed this affair to Berry after Diana Ross tried to upstage him in a performance. But listen at this. The Ding-a-ling of Gold had Diana so whipped that Eddie's first wife recounts a time where she showed up to their house at night asking to speak to Eddie. When she did not get let in for obvious reasons, Diana had a mental break and started breaking their house windows, getting the cops called on her. In her book, Mary Wilson says she briefly dated Eddie, but she didn't give a specific time frame, probably because it lapsed with the time frame that her bandmate Diana Ross was messing with him. Just messy. But Eddie wasn't the only one keeping it in the family. Dennis Edwards was another story. Before dating Aretha Franklin in the 70s, he dated her sister Irma Franklin. But that ain't stopped Aretha Franklin one bit. Baby was so infatuated with him that he inspired the song Daydreaming. All for him to leave her for Ruth Pointer of the Pointer Sisters. I mean, they got married, had a kid, the whole shebang. Although the relationship didn't last too long due to alleged physical and substance abuse. And what you got to know about them Temptation Brothers is that they all entertain substances, be it alcohol, weed, cocaine, or a combination of all of them. Except Paul Williams. His drink of choice was known to be milk. That is until he was diagnosed with sickle cell. The pain was so bad that a man that never drank became an alcoholic just to try to cope. Otis says he would sometimes drink 2 to 3/5 of Cavassier a day. He had to end up leaving the group due to the effects that sickle cell had on him, and that on top of other personal issues he was going through caused him to unalive himself at the age of 34. And although it was ruled that he unalived himself, close family and friends like David Ruffin just didn't think it made sense that he was shot on the left side of his head, but the gun was in his right hand, that he was a few blocks from Motown, and that he only had underwear on. On top of that, a few hours earlier, he was at his girlfriend's house who allegedly had another boyfriend. So to family, they were thinking there's other parts going on here, but the coroner would not change the original verdict. Speaking of David Ruffin, let's get into the whole show that he was within himself. So once the Temptations really started popping off, you couldn't tell David nothing. While the other members rode in the group limousine to events and concerts, David Ruffin bought his own limousine for him and his girlfriend Tammy Terrell to pull up in. Then when the Supremes changed their name to Diana Ross and the Supremes, David thought, well hell, we need to change this group to David Ruffin and the Temptations. And he went as far as to do a, I'm David Ruffin, and these are the Temptations, at a concert, impromptu, without any of the other members knowing, and they chewed into his ass for it. It was this new attitude on top of him beginning to miss concert dates and meetings because he was heavy into drugs now that the group unanimously decided to fire him. And Ruffin actually gave his replacement, Dennis Edwards, his approval, as according to him, he quit until Edwards' debut with the group. I mean, he was happy, he was ready, had the dance move down, had his lyrics down. Man, the beginning drum line for Ain't Too Proud to Beg began, and out of thin air, David Ruffin appears to do his part. And in the movie, they kind of make it seem like Ruffin comes and takes the mic from Edwards, but according to Edwards, he gave the mic to David. He was just happy to be up there with all of them. And that is where he went wrong, because he unknowingly created a whole new act for the show. For their next few tour dates, David will show up to the venue, get past the security that the Temptations hired just for him, get on stage in time for his part, drive the crowd crazy, and then just disappear. And the crowds was loving this and him so much that according to Dennis, the Temptations laid him off and brought David back. But they had to call Dennis back after David didn't show up to his first performance back with the group. I mean, playing in their face. According to Otis, they ain't ever invite David to come back to the group. This is why we needed cameras in confessionals, because I want to witness this firsthand.
Uh, Lord, the
Ooh,
tea.
child. A whole tea party. Whole tea party.
I
Baby,
said
clock that
that would
tea.
have been one hell of a of a reality show following the Temptations and the Supremes. I swear, the reality TV should have been a thing back then for that exact moment.
Clocking that tea, honey. Ooh, child.
I
Ooh,
said they got Diana
child.
Ross secrets, Aretha Franklin secrets, and the Temptations secrets, and the
Oh, I
fact that
already
he was
knew
drinking,
about that.
what was they
Oh,
say, 3 to 5 bottles of Cavassier? Like, god damn.
fifths.
Right, 3 to 5
Fifths a
fifths
day.
of I'm like,
A day.
what?
Bro. Ooh, child.
I couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine.
I didn't
Who?
know he was that young though when he died. 34.
Hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think he the only
Mm.
one that died in like in their early 30s. All the rest of them
Mm.
was like I think at least they died in like the 70s and the 80s, I believe, or I should say 80s and 90s that they were all passing
Mhm.
away. And I think I think Otis might be the only one that's still living to this day.
Ain't nobody thinking about you, Otis.
Yeah, I'm like that's just crazy. So let's get into this Chris Brown whole thing. So I hope I don't get in trouble for this. I managed to get the clip for y'all, a clip of it. So I'm gonna play it, and we just gonna pray to God that we don't get
This
no.
just this was released what? I got up this morning and seen it.
He released it overnight.
Yeah.
So I pray to God that we don't get no type of things put on
Get
us.
flagged.
Yeah, we don't get flagged or anything for it. But I'm gonna play it for y'all. So here we go.
Don't let this R&B shit fool you niggas get ripped to shreds. Quavo talking like he a thug, nigga, you a bitch with dread. Can't wait to see the day that you back up all of that shit you said. What's all that bullshit you talking? You ain't no huncho, nigga. You the weakest link out of your clique, let's keep it a hundo, nigga. You fuck my ex-hoe, that's cool, I don't give no fuck, little nigga. Cause I fucked your ex when you was still with a bitch, I'm up, little nigga. They say revenge is sweet. Now think about that shit, don't let that line go over your head. I might just sing about that shit. I had a feeling about that dick, there's something sweet about that shit. I got some tea about that bitch, but I ain't gon' speak about that shit. I ain't playing chess with a checker player. I'm a ticking bomb on a detonator. I shit on niggas, I'm a defecator. I put Amigo on a ventilator. Stop talking about beating girls. You was beating bitches on the elevator. We seen the taste, that's devastating. You doing bad. You a bitch in your music trash. Fashion week, they set me next to your lame ass. I was truly mad. All I kept thinking about was breaking your face, but I gave you a pass. You lucky I ain't wanna fuck the money up, boy. I would've broke you in half. Quit trying to be tough, you ain't like that. Why you keep showing off? Quit talking about drugs, you the only pack that I've been smoking on. I just hit my plug, told him come back, I'ma need more than one. Your last album was a weed trade, just some bullshit that we roll up on. You know what's on, put you to bed. Night, night, that's Sudafed. Show me that I'm tender, bitch. Time to prove what you done said. R.I.P. take off, he the only real one that got true respect. Crazy how when he died, everybody really wished it was you instead. Oh, shit. You tripping.
So the ending of that song was like, how does it feel being bodied by a rapping N word? I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I'm
So
sorry,
first of
he ain't gonna
all,
be able to recover. He not gonna be able to recover. Like, dude, you just got this a
Quavo,
whole diss track, and he rapped on you. Chris Brown dropped a whole diss track. This is a dancing light skinned Negro that just dropped
listen,
a
the light
diss.
skin been cut up.
And
They've been
you,
cutting up, honey. They've been cutting up. They've been cutting up. So this is what I like about Chris Brown. So Drake got a diss track. Kendrick Lamar, Rick Ross, all of them been like in J. Cole. You know, they all been kind of in their own little diss world. But then Quavo and Chris Brown is something separate, right?
Mhm.
So my thing is Chris Brown never misses words, right? He gonna say what he gotta say. He don't really care. He's been blackballed by the entertainment industry ever since the whole Rihanna thing went down, right? But I feel like he's still been doing fairly good for himself. He's going out on tour now. He just released a new album
Mhm.
that has quite a few tracks. I don't know if I think it's a double album if I'm not mistaken because I started listening to it. Um, but the fact that he got time enough when he getting ready for a tour just put out a new album to put out a whole diss track on your ass. And it's like the shit he said, like, ain't no coming back from that. Like,
And the
if
fact that
anybody knows,
Chris Brown don't fuck with nobody unless you fuck with him.
so that's why I'm here for it because I'm already knowing Chris Brown was minding his business.
Yeah, Chris Brown has always minded his own business. Chris Brown has always been in his own little Chris Brown world bubble, minding his own business. I come, sometimes I come out this bubble, drop an album that got like 75 songs on there, and I go on tour and disappear, and I just be private, and like you
Make
don't
his money and going
see
about
him
his
in the public
business.
eye. And
Yeah.
like if he's not touring or making an album, you do not see Chris Brown really out there in public at all. He don't do public appearances. You're not gonna see him at award shows. You're not gonna see him at no Met galas. You're not gonna see him at none of that stuff unless he get called for the book a performance or I'm dropping an album. I be in my Chris Brown bubble.
Yep.
And for you to
You
come at
he'll
me while I'm in my Chris Brown bubble, minding my own business, like I'm afraid to end your career. And that's what that's what your career got ended by young boy just turned 17 and I got like you just got your career got ended by that.
popping looking ass. Like it's I feel sorry for him. I do. And I mean he like
Once
he touched upon everything. Like, yeah, you out here talking about some you my ex, but I was with your girl while y'all was still together. Nigga. Like, what you gonna do about that? I went up to. Then he turned around. It was saying how he didn't want to sit next to him when they was at the fashion show, right? Then he went on to say um he didn't do nothing because he wasn't gonna mess up his money.
right.
Then he went on, and then now everybody's posting pictures of them sitting next to each
Okay.
other, and and Quavo looked highly uncomfortable, and Chris is sitting there minding his business. And
Ah,
then he went on to talk about if anybody knows hip hop rap, the group Migos. It was three of them, right? You got Quavo, you got Cardi B's husband, right? And then you had I can
yo.
hear you.
Okay.
And then
That's the
Takeoff.
mic
So
check, everybody.
Takeoff was killed, shot. He was shot and killed when they were rolling dice or something somewhere. I can't remember
Some
exactly.
hood nigga mess.
Yeah. So he got shot and he got killed. It sounded like I'm not sure if he was the target or somebody else was the target, but unfortunate events, right? This is the this is the band member that was in jail for a while and then he got out. And he minded his business too. You know what I'm saying? He was pretty low key. Um, Offset got his solo album. Quavo and Takeoff had just released the album together when Takeoff got killed. Okay. So since then I haven't really heard anything about the album. I listened to the album, I liked it. I liked the Migos when they were together. I feel like they were a better group than solo artists.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for him to say that everybody wish it was you instead, like that is the lowest depths of hell low.
That's how you know you
Uh
pissed somebody off.
man, to say that or to say to record it and then put that out, woo, child. It's not like he picked up the phone and texted to him. He was like, I'm gonna do you one better.
Right. That's I'm
So
like,
yeah.
they better leave Chris Brown alone.
Chris Brown got the diss track of all diss tracks this year. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
How much time we got? Okay. So I don't know if you seen the videos of I don't know if
Uh,
we talked about this in our last one with Jennifer Lopez.
what about her? What was it? A tour, a show, or something?
So everything has been coming out about her stealing music from black women. So there was like a lot of songs that she took that was for meant for that was already made that black women had already recorded was about to put out, and then they was like, "Oh no, we're gonna give it to Jennifer Lopez." So it was that. Then there was other story about how a lot of women were singing like Jennifer Lopez songs. So like a lot of the audio that we hear on her, if you go back and listen to her actual albums, you would hear other artists' voice, and a lot of these other artists wasn't paid. Like Ashanti wasn't paid for when they did "Unreal" the way you want. Like
Hmm.
a lot of that was Ashanti vocals, and she wasn't paid for it. If you listen to "Play" on Jennifer Lopez J Lo album, is the whole entire chorus is sung by Christina Milian. She was not paid for that. So that it was that going on. So Jennifer Lopez is currently upset because this is supposed to be her last album, whatever her final farewell tour, whatever she wants to call it. Like she's done with music. I guess
And
that's
don't
what she's
nobody want
saying.
to be a part of it.
So nobody wants to be a part of it. And then on top of that, the visual that she put out, like somebody had gave me like a recap 'cause I refused to watch it. But they had gave me a recap, like the whole entire thing did not make sense whatsoever. Nobody really bought the album, and then on top of that, she had the nerves to go out on tour. So now this is the part where I have respect for Beyonce. So for Beyonce, her VIP area was like the people where they sit like literally on stage while she's performing. So those tickets were $1,800 a piece for Beyonce show.
Not bad.
Exactly. Jennifer Lopez is asking for a VIP area for her show, and you can't just purchase one ticket. You have to purchase two tickets. So the VIP area for her show, she's asking $7,000 for these tickets.
Oh, she better go take a nap somewhere. And
And
nobody paying no VIP $7,000
and
to
I,
see
and
you
and I
now.
believe her cheapest ticket is like $300 or $400 for her cheapest ticket for her show. So because people are not buying these concert tickets, she's been having to cancel dates on her tour because nobody is buying the tickets. And then on top of
Why would?
that, huh,
Because what songs are you singing? You ain't got none of the people that were actually in the songs that made you popular with black people. You ain't got nobody. Who you got?
no, it's just gonna be her.
Oh, nobody want to listen to you.
And then on top of that, so I don't know if anybody remember the movie Glitter, but it's this
Glitter. Yeah.
yeah, it's this thing going around now. So there's the scene in the movie where Mariah Carey is playing like a backup singer.
Mhm.
And I believe the main character, she was singing backup singer for the character named Silk.
Mhm.
So it's this song on the soundtrack called My Life. So this girl is singing a song and she sounds horrible. Y'all been waiting for someone to come into my. That's how the lady had sounded.
Mhm.
They said that's how Jennifer Lopez sound when she's trying to sing a Mariah Carey song.
First of all, one, I feel like the only two people in the world that are still alive that can actually sing a Mariah Carey song is what's the young lady with the ponytail?
Ariana Grande,
Ariana Grande, and then Jennifer. What's her last name?
who Hudson.
Yes, those are the only two people I feel like that can match Mariah's vocals. They still don't get them
What
right on point because they are their own singers. The only other person that I know that sung at her capacity was Whitney Houston.
Kelly Rowland did her version of Fantasy when she was doing a BET honors for Mariah, and she hit one of Mariah Carey notes perfect, like right on the spot when she had did it. Now,
Well,
far as the
that's
other
good.
parts of the song, like when she's like when you walk by, it's not in Mariah Carey's note, but she can hit certain
Right,
high notes like Mariah set the whole whistle tone. But when it comes to like how Mariah Carey sung the original note lip, yeah, Kelly couldn't do that. But on certain notes, yeah, she
right,
can. But
right.
yeah,
Jennifer Hudson has a very powerful set of lungs, and she can like I don't know, she just
well,
because she
you
trains so good.
you did leave out Mariah Carey's "Love Takes Time" right in front of Mariah when Mariah won the award for music, and it was Patti LaBelle.
Oh,
So, but the thing
okay,
is that was the wrong song for Patty to sing because Patty she like do a lot of riffs and runs and she likes to yell and
yeah,
scream. Mariah didn't do a lot of yelling and screaming on that song, so it wasn't really a good song song for Patty to do, but when it came close to that part at the very end when Mariah hit the like the whole whistle note and Patty got up there. I mean, when I said Patty was up there with Mariah, I was
So
proud of
I
Patty at
mean,
almost damn note.
but why does Jennifer Lopez think she can do that?
That why does Jennifer Lopez think she can sing? The fact that
That's
she
what I'm saying.
performed, I think she performed on SNL earlier this year, and SNL had posted the original clip from when she did it live. Jennifer Lopez team contacted them and told them they need to take it down, and then Jennifer Lopez team went and corrected Jennifer Lopez vocals, and then told them they could and sent them the video for them to repost it onto their like social media pages.
Is she having a midlife crisis? She in her 50s, right?
Yeah, I believe her
I
and
need her to
Mariah around
stick
the
to
same
acting.
age.
Well, honey, Mariah do it better. Okay. I need her, and she does it so effortlessly. Like Jennifer Lopez, I need you to know what your lane is. You need to stick with vocals that are not Mariah Carey. You
Right.
need to bring those ticket sales down to a reasonable level, and you
Like
might have got some people to actually come and see you.
like Shakira, I believe her. I think Shakira is currently going out on tour. Her most expensive ticket, somebody said, was only $365.
So Shakira can sing.
Yep.
Shakira can sing. I just no, like Jennifer Lopez, you have been a culture vulture. You hopped in at the time when you were dating, around the time she was dating Diddy, right?
Hmm.
And she was on. She had all of these black people on her songs, and I feel like that's what boosted it because that's what we were listening to,
The
and it was catching like Ja
the
Rule,
only the,
Ashanti.
the only reason, and I think this kills Jennifer Lopez. So 'cause her and Mariah was signed at the same label.
So what? That don't
So
make you
no, so no,
Mariah
look.
Carey.
So this is what happened. This is why I feel like Jennifer Lopez should feel shitty for like her whole life because the only reason why you're relevant is because Mariah Carey was divorcing her husband and won her divorce, and he was trying to sabotage Mariah Carey's career. So he only brought you in and gave you those hit songs. He gave you a song that Mariah Carey had already recorded and finished, and he took the sample and gave it to you to use. And he only did like you were only relevant because your only relevancy was to sabotage Mariah Carey's career. They didn't really care if you could sing, they didn't care if you could dance, they didn't care if you could act. All they cared about was using you to sabotage somebody else's career. That's what you're going to be known for.
She should have just stuck with the dancing in the movies. Like she's not that good of an actor, but I enjoy her acting better than her singing.
Yeah, like that's what
And I
she's going to be
mean,
known
she
for.
she has an incredible body. You know what I'm saying? For her, she looks great to be her
Hmm.
age. I'm not gonna lie about that. She's a beautiful woman, but her personality doesn't seem to match with that beauty.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like she's a succubus.
Right.
Is what I want to call it. Because why would you even think that you would your tickets should be more expensive than Beyonce? Because how much did Mariah tickets cost
I think
for
at her
VIP?
current residency right now, I think her most expensive ticket I seen was like $1,200.
See, J Lo needs to sit the fuck down somewhere. So you think somebody gonna pay $14,000 because they what 7,000 a ticket and then you gotta buy two?
Hmm.
Why would I spend that type of money to come see you? What are you doing? You better be doing some motherfucking cartwheels and backflips and spinning on the pole somewhere, honey.
You right. You better be doing something.
You better be doing something because you haven't been relevant all of these years, and then now you want to come out the fucking blue with a tour and think you're gonna bamboozle somebody into paying that much money. That's what your ass get. Now you've been humbled by the masses of Americans who don't want to see you.
She basically been canceled.
And then you got to think about it. It's like our generation was the one that grew up listening to her music. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
these kids that the best you're gonna get is you're going to go to smaller venues with people who want to do reunion tours. You can't even get a residency, honey.
I don't think she has that one. No.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So you better stick to smaller venues in major cities
yeah,
and
because
then
she,
work
yeah,
your
this
way
isn't a
up.
stadium tour. She only doing arenas, so she can't. She knows she can't pack a stadium.
Well, listen. So who
She gonna have to go.
came?
She
Who
gonna have
I
to go
went to
down
go?
downgrade to theaters.
So Nicki Minaj came to our city, right? And came to the Pfizer Forum where the Bucks play. And she sold out, from
Mhm.
what I understand, that's what they said. But it's Pfizer Forum. It's not Lambeau Field.
Right. I mean, Pfizer Forum still holds for a Bucks game 17,000 people.
But it's not Lambeau Field.
It's not. It's not 80,000 seats in Lambeau. It's not.
Okay. And I mean, she's 40. She's older than me, I think by 1 or 2 years. So she's in her 40s. She has a toddler child, et cetera, et cetera. I can't remember the last time Nikki did a concert tour. Um, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. She was a little hesitant at first because I don't think she's ever did a show in Milwaukee. So this was a new audience to her, a new city. And I think after she realized how many fans she actually had,
Hmm.
then she started to engage with the audience a little bit more. So that was the side of Nikki that everybody wanted to see. Once she started letting her personality come through, then we
Hmm.
enjoyed the show more. Okay, because especially in these last few months, Nicki Minaj has kind of painted herself as a bully. I can't say the last few months, but it's stirred up in the last few months with her and Megan Thee Stallion.
Hmm.
Um, I kind of feel some kind of way because Megan didn't put Milwaukee on her tour. Um, her summer tour with Glorilla, who just got arrested for a DUI. Um, so I would have absolutely loved to see Megan. I feel like Megan is a better performer, but she's in her 20s, you
Hmm.
know, with no kids, et cetera, et cetera. Um,
Yeah, Megan only
but
came here because the Summerfest
she
people
was at
paid
the.
her to come, and then so like for
When did she
Summerfest,
come for Summerfest? She came
this
for
was like
Summerfest?
yeah, this was a few
I saw her at
years.
the rave.
She was at Summerfest. She played Summerfest.
Okay. Well, the first time she came, she was at the rave. I remember this. This was probably about. Mm, I've been at that job for 3 years, and I was at the so probably about 4 years ago. About four, maybe probably about 5 years ago. So it's
Yeah, because
before I found out about Tony.
I think about 2020, the summer of 2022, and it was just only having Summerfest on the weekends, is when
Okay.
she was here, and she played
Okay.
Summerfest.
Okay. So I had to have seen her 2019. 2019, I think. Um, and it was at the rave. The ticket was like $55. Um, and she actually canceled the first show because she was sick and then rescheduled. So I remember that. Now this is when she was just becoming mainstream. I had listened to all of her. I'm a mixtape person. Back in the day, I'm an older person, so I listen to mixtapes. You know, that's how I fell in love with Nicki mixtapes, right? So I want to see her perform, this, that, and the other. And she put on a great performance. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I became a Megan Thee Stallion fan. But, her and Nicki had their little diss tracks going back and forth, and Megan Megan put it out. She put it on um all streaming services. She had a video for it, like all of that stuff. And I mean, she wasn't really just dissing Nicki. Primarily, it was snips and pieces. A lot of like um guesswork, right? We think she's talking about her. We really not saying she did. She didn't put no names on it, et cetera, right? But then Nikki was carrying on social media. Then she put out a mixtape, a diss track called Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm. I've heard.
And, it wasn't the best. And I hate that for her, but she spiraled out of control. She was angry, et cetera, et cetera. But she did freestyle at her show in Milwaukee. And she, you know what I'm saying? She got bars. That's why I like Nikki. She's a great lyricist, right? She's very theatrical, all of that stuff. So, I mean, I was in a suite. It was eight of us, right? I paid $400 for that suite. So what? Probably about $3,200 for all eight of us to be there, right? So why does Jennifer Lopez think she should be given? And then Nikki didn't have I don't believe she had VIPs for that show. So, and she probably couldn't because I don't know what the rules and stipulations and got, with her husband and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But that's none of my business. Um, but why does Jennifer Lopez think she's supposed to be getting $7,000 per person for VIP? Again,
Cause she
these
thinks she that
like
bitch and she not.
you not. You have not sold more than Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Nicki Minaj. None of them. Megan Thee Stallion. Come on now. Come on now. Megan Thee Stallion holds her own masters now.
Yeah, cause I think Mariah, she's like the only black artist who has three diamond albums. Like, well, only female black artist with three diamond albums.
And I believe it. And you know what? If Whitney Houston was still alive and she never got sucked into what she got sucked into, I feel like they would be going neck and neck.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
What a
the
time to be
music.
alive, right?
Oh, if Whitney was live. Oh, the music scene, darling. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Speaking of this whole Vegas, her residency in Vegas, Mariah, I am so proud of you for doing more singing with your current voice. Now we all know that yes, she is still using some playback, but the fact that a lot of this show is majority of the show, I should say, is more 100% live. I'm proud of you, girl. Cause
Nikki
she
did
like
use playback.
Cause she's do like Mariah is doing like she wouldn't do barely any like a live whistle notes, and when a lot of her whistle notes in the show, and her Vegas residency is all live. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, girl.
Oh, buddy. When does her residency end?
She just extended it, I think, until June. Nope,
We should have
August.
went.
I think it's until
We
August.
should have went.
I would have. I
We
would have
should
went.
have went.
Mariah.
We should have went.
How much time we got? Okay. So I got this video. It's about 2 minutes long, and y'all know we in prom season. So this guy came across some prom outfits. There is some good and some bad and some ugly. And we're gonna play this clip.
It's just giving pilgrim. I don't know why. I don't know why. I know they didn't wear blue. Then you got the matching purse. I know that purse came from the hair store. Ain't no way the designer was already done with this dress. Ain't no way. I mean, this is good. Y'all did this. And then my guy got on dress shoes. We ain't doing that this year, so that's real nice. She smiling idiot because she got her some color. And I ain't talking about pink. Like, this didn't give too little. This didn't give too much. You know, everybody talking about, oh, they ate. She didn't eat. She snacked. You ain't even seen the main course. I don't know. You just look like you don't play. It's look like you looking at your nails to see how hard you can hit me and not break a nail. You look good, girl. You look good. You just look too clean to be around the swamp. I know after this photo shoot, you smell like a catfish and an alligator. Like, how do y'all afford these shoes? Like, bro, when I was y'all age, I was asking my mama for some Nikes. Like red bottoms, or I don't know why, but she looked like that mayor of Chicago, Lightfoot. But you look good. Now, they did this comparison. I did not. That's Gucci Mane and Keisha. You know, I feel like they really did they did their thing. I give him Uchi and Isha. He not hiding the world from his girl. He hiding his girl from the world. He said, cover up. Don't show these people everything you got. and she covered up. I mean, just where's the rest of the dress? How did they let you in there? One wrong move, that's out there. The whole is out there. And he looked like he gonna be saying, say yes, girl. I don't know what's weirder. Him holding an all-white snake for a photo shoot, or her trying to cover up the whole car with her dress. I don't know. I'm real neutral. I'm neutral. Neutral. I don't know how many closets he went in to get dressed today, but it's too many. It's too much going on. My face look like hers. Look at Isaiah and Kate. I'm just so proud of y'all. They gonna grow up to be the youth leaders of the church. They gonna have about 4 kids and drive a Suburban. Now, the theme at her prom was circus. F whoever came up with the theme. But, baby, how you fit that little hat on that head? I mean, serve the people. Serve the people. Serve the... It's like nothing ain't extra. Now, that's how you eat. That's how you eat.
That's how you eat. That's how you eat.
It was
Classic
the
black, honey. I love black.
it was
Classic.
the pilgrim for me.
First of all, I didn't even see the purse until he said something because I was like, "Where's the purse?" It was like drowning in all that blue, honey. They must have whoever cut the fabric for the purse and glued it onto the purse because I didn't see it, honey. Okay. Now I like the black dress. I did not like. So
I
I
like
like the one with the girl in the swamp. I like her
I
dress
like
and the
that
way she
one.
looked. She was pretty, but the backdrop should have been better for that dress. For her, she could have ate that. That
Mhm.
could have been easy. The one with the black with the split, I liked it. So they look good, but one wrong move and the whole cooch is gonna be out.
Mhm.
And this is why I say I never wanted a daughter because, honey, you would have been had a whole chastity belt on. I I liked it. She looked good in the dress. Okay. She had the body for it. It just that split should have been taken down just a couple of notches, sewn down a little bit. The one with Gucci Man and his wife, that I mean, that's what their inspiration was, but they didn't pull it off.
Or something he said.
Yep, Keisha
Uh,
Cole and Gucci Man.
oh,
That well, we think he a clone anyway, but whatever. Um, so this is my thing, right? You saw the pictures of my son in his date to prom. Classic prom pictures for our location. And it was given when I went to prom. So she had on a dress that I had on in a different color for my junior prom. And he had on the tux that my date had on in a different color. And to me, that was classic prom. Not too much, not too little, very age appropriate. Um, stuff like that. Like these kids, and
stop standing on the
she.
dresses. That's what's
So
pissing me.
they stand on the train. So I feel like that's very disrespectful to stand on the train of a woman's dress. Okay, it's not cute. It's not cute. First of all, half of these girls don't know how to walk in heels, let alone a dress like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who have trains for dresses have somebody picking up the trainer they dress, right? When they going into an event, you ain't dancing nowhere. You just sitting down looking pretty or standing up taking pictures, right? So you're not really enjoying your prom. And I just feel like the lace fronts, my son's date, she did not have on a fucking lace front,
Oh,
you know.
speaking of lace fronts, Tina, I was at work
Oh,
and the little girl, she had two braids in the front and the two braids is going to a ponytail. But the mama had did that stupid baby hair shit in the front, and they took the
oh,
hair and
right here,
how they do the lace
right
front
here,
weave.
and right here.
They did that on that baby hair. I said,
Yeah.
"What the oh, I'm so sick of the damn baby hair."
So I want y'all to understand something. Baby hairs are for babies, okay? My son has baby hairs. My toddler has baby hairs. I have hairs that are shorter than the rest of my hair at the front of my hair. I do not gel them shits down, nor will I ever gel them shits down. Okay? Stop doing that shit. Whoever created that shit, that's stupid. if you don't have fucking edges, don't cut your actual hair to create edges because that's what you're doing, and that shit is not cute and it's played out.
That's because
And
I'm so sick of edges.
y'all is 19 years old wearing fucking wigs. Like back in my day, you was 50 some years old before you started wearing wigs.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to take care of your regular hair, grow it healthy, long, thick, and wear your own fucking hair, like braids. I seen some shit the other day where they said braids was played out. That means that you broke if you get braids. Who the fuck told y'all that? Because back when I was getting micro braids, my micro braids $250, and they a whole lot more now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. Um,
Get some
so
fucking sew-ins.
right. I totally agree. Like, I'm sick of the lace fronts with the baby wigs. I'm with the baby hair. I'm just over that at the point. The fact that the whole entire forehead be covered in baby hair is just, oh my god. Um, so let me get. I got two more clips. Good thing they're short clips. I'm gonna play this first one.
Okay.
Oh, my system don't want to work.
Mm.
Yep, it's not working. Okay, there we go.
Her name is Faith. I love so much how Faith is just like, yeah, I'm the white girl. It's me. I'm sorry.
First of all, her hair was flawless.
Who? The lady.
The lady in Faith. Faith hair was thick as a motherfucker. Did you see that shit?
Yeah, Faith did have some good hair.
Faith has hair, honey. Okay?
Um, okay, I
That
got
had to
one.
be down south somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I got one more video for y'all because we already over time. So I got one more video for y'all, and then we're gonna ingredient in this show. So here we go.
Find that motherfucking groundhog and cook that bitch! You lying motherfucker!
So for you audio listeners, it was snowing where yesterday, that's April 19th, 2024. So it was yesterday, wherever it was snowing, and they were upset.
I'm so happy it wasn't us. I'm so happy that wasn't us. We just been getting rain. Cause honey, ooh child.
Groundhog and
Cause
cook.
cut that.
Oh, you know
Oh shit.
whoever made that video was black.
Absolutely. Cause we be
Oh,
over the cold, honey. Cause what is this? Stop playing with me.
I'm to be honest, y'all. Like, as much as I love Christmas and stuff, like, I either need it for it to stay cold or stay warm because this in between going with what hot this day, cold this day, hot for 2 days, cold for 3 days, then warm again for 12 days, and it's cold again for 17 days. I can't. It's just too much. It it needs to pick one or the other. We gonna have to be one or the other. 'Cause I can't get over my cold because once again, I have to keep going. I gotta go outside to go to work and stuff, and I can't get over this cold because it keep going from hot to cold. My body don't know what to do. I've been sick for 2 damn weeks because this damn weather here don't know if you want to be hot or cold.
Ooh child.
Oh Lord, let's head into final thoughts.
Oh hey y'all, it's me. Okay, so final thoughts. So my takeaway from this episode is please be careful with who you date and who you bring into your life, into your personal space. Um, just talking about just referencing the whole Sade Robinson case. Talk to your daughters, be there for your daughters, be in their lives, and I'm talking about inner lives. Ask them who they going to meet, where they going. You know, I have boys. I ask them all the time, who you going with? Where you going? You got to be home at this certain time. Like, parents, just take care of your children and sit down, talk to them about the terrors and the horrors out here in this world, and let them know that even though they are pure heart, that other people are not pure heart and they have ulterior motives. And that's my final thought.
Oh well, Tina had touched on a lot of the final thoughts. I don't know what to say about final thoughts and stuff. I'm mad that gas is getting too damn high again. They need to lower the cost of health insurance. They need to lower the cost of rent. They need to lower the cost of taxes, and then they need to distribute the money to public schools the way it needs to be distributed. There is no way that the city of Milwaukee make up damn near 80% of Wisconsin's income, and then when it comes to when our capital to send that money back to the city of Milwaukee or Milwaukee County, for that money can be distributed into public schools and fixing roads and police and all the other kind of stuff that we need. They giving it to all the suburban counties where it's majority white people in rural areas. That's who's getting all the money, and then the part of the state that's generating the majority of the money because it's 500 almost 600,000 people that lives in Milwaukee County alone. If you include Kenosha and Racine, that's close to about what two a million, over a million. Some people it's close to 2 million people, and yet none of these people in southeastern Wisconsin are getting their money back that they should be getting back from Madison, because they giving it all to to these other counties that where all the rich people live at, and making sure that their schools is properly funded and got all these programs and stuff for their kids to do. And that's why. And then on top of that, like, you don't hear about a lot of the public schools and stuff like that. You don't hear about the public schools in the southeastern part of the state going to state and going to national, because they don't even have a chance to even compete for the stuff, because they're not putting money into those programs. So once again, they need to start doing their job and distributing money back to the kind of the part of the state that generates the most money. If those areas of the state want more money for their public schools and for their roads and other things that they got going on, then they should increase their taxes and stuff like that and generate more money for their part of this state to get that money back, or whatever how it goes to fund that stuff. How you doing?
I agree. Snap.
And with that being said, this has been Same Cast Different Day podcast. Due to Tina's schedules, the live broadcast will be on Saturdays. The first weekend of May, it probably won't be a broadcast unless we pre-tape, because that half us going out of town. So
I am.
there will not be it, we got to discuss how we're gonna do that for that weekend, the first weekend of May. But anyways, yeah, for I guess from until I think August we'll be on Saturdays.
Yep.
All right, till August, we'll be on Saturdays. Until then, thank y'all. I think we're halfway through season 9. We'll be approaching season 10 very soon. So thank you all who has been streaming the podcast. Because a lot of you people, for some reason, y'all like to go on YouTube and watch us. For some reason, y'all like to go and watch the audio, listen to the audio versions, which is fine. We appreciate it. But we thank y'all for y'all support. We'll see y'all on the next episode. All right, I'm gonna see you. Okay, all right now. All right, we're gonna see y'all all right now. Okay, all right.